Comet. Herald of Tragedy. From ancient Chronicles to Comet Atlas. Comets appear rarely, and when they do appear, they capture the world's attention. But once, they were not gazed upon with awe. They were viewed with fear, because it was believed that a comet was not an ordinary phenomenon. It was a warning. The first known observations of comets date back to the 3rd millennium BCE, though we can assume such a sight was familiar to humanity much earlier. In chronicles from Europe, the Middle East, and Asia, comets were described as fiery swords, bloody spears, or heavenly brooms sweeping the world. When a comet appeared over a city, people expected the worst. It was believed to herald wars, plagues, famine, or the death of a ruler. Not because anyone understood the mechanics of the cosmos, but because the extraordinary evoked primal fear. The sky ceased to be neutral. It became an accuser. Halley's Comet. Comet of kings, curses, and death. One of the most famous heralds of tragedy was Halley's Comet. It is believed that the first observation of Halley's Comet occurred in 239 BCE. And it appeared regularly, as if returning to remind people of the fragility of the world's order. In 1066, the comet appeared over Europe. Its appearance in the spring of 1066 was one of the most famous signs in the sky throughout the entire Middle Ages. Today we know it was the regular return of the same comet, but for people of that era, it was a disturbing omen. Often a harbinger of war, the death of a ruler, or great changes. The most famous depiction is on the Bayeux Tapestry. There, people are shown pointing at a bright object with a long tail, and a terrified king. How was it interpreted? In 11th century Europe, the sky was treated as a book of signs from God. Comets, in particular, inspired fear because they appeared suddenly, they had an unnatural shape, and they did not fit the orderly motion of the stars. Chroniclers wrote of them as swords, burning spears, or hairy stars. They were often linked to impending divine punishment. Reaction in England and Norman propaganda. In 1066, Harold Godwinson had just ascended the throne. In the same year, William the Conqueror was preparing for invasion. The Normans later claimed the comet was a sign that Harold's rule was illegitimate and that William's victory was heaven's will. For Harold's opponents, it was thus a convenient proof. What did ordinary people fear? Chronicles report fear of war and famine, anxiety over the king's death, and fear of plague or the end times. In a world where disasters were frequent, every unusual phenomenon could confirm the worst premonitions. And indeed, several months later, Harold died in the Battle of Hastings, and England got a new dynasty. For people of that era, it looked like a fulfilled prophecy. In 1910, the fear took a modern form. Newspapers scared people that Earth would pass through Halley's Comet's tail. Astronomers using spectroscopy discovered cyanogen in the tail of Halley's Comet. This information was distorted by the media, sparking fears of the end of the world. French astronomer Camille Flammarion suggested the gas could seep into the atmosphere and suffocate life on Earth. Public reaction. In May 1910, as Earth passed through the comet's tail, people sealed windows and doors, bought gas masks, and sought salvation from heavenly wrath. They bought protective remedies. Anti-comet pills, which were a scam based on fear, gained enormous popularity during Halley's Comet approach. They were sold as a miracle cure to protect against the supposedly toxic tail of the comet. The pills sold by scammers were typically just sugar or a mixture of sugar and quinine. Rational explanations lost out to mass panic. Comet Hale Bopp. Cosmic sign for cults. In 1997, an exceptionally bright comet appeared, igniting not only the sky but also people's imaginations. On the internet, theories circulated that a second object was hidden behind the comet. That the comet was not just a chunk of ice, but a veil for something coming from the depths of space. The appearance of Comet Hale Bopp in 1997 sparked not only admiration but also paranoia, leading to the tragic mass suicide of 39 members of the Heaven's Gate cult in California. The followers believed a spaceship trailed behind the comet, to which they would ascend after death, freeing themselves from their physical bodies. Here are the key facts about this event. Heaven's Gate cult. The group, led by Marshall Applewhite, blended Christian beliefs with UFO theories. Tragedy in Rancho Santa Fe. In March 1997, 39 people, 21 women and 18 men committed suicide by ingesting a lethal mixture of phenobarbital and alcohol, chased with lemonade. Preparations. The cultists wore identical black shirts and tracksuits, and each had a $5 bill and coins, calling it payment for the journey. Panic and myths. The appearance of such a bright comet visible for over 18 months became fodder for conspiracy theories, despite astronomers explaining it posed no threat to Earth. This event is one of the most drastic examples of the influence of destructive cults that exploit astronomical phenomena for manipulation and to incite mass panic. In closed esoteric circles, it was said that the comet opens gates between worlds, changes the energetic structure of Earth, and its appearance is a signal to leave the old world. Here arises a dark mechanism. When a natural phenomenon is seen as a divine or cosmic sign, someone will always declare themselves its interpreter. And behind interpreting signs often follow extreme decisions. Apocalyptic cults and comets as a call. Doomsday cults often build their narratives around signs from the sky. A comet fits this role perfectly. It appears rarely, looks unnatural, and attracts millions of people's attention. Leaders of such groups say, "This is a signal that the world is ending. This is the moment of transition. Only we understand the true meaning of this sign." The comet becomes a tool of control. Not because it has anything supernatural, but because people want to believe the sky is speaking to them. Comet Atlas. The modern return of ancient fears. When Comet Atlas appeared in the sky, theories arose such as spaceship alien probe. The most popular theory, supported by Harvard physicist Avi Loeb, suggests that 3I Atlas may not be a natural comet but an artificial object, probe, or mothership sent by an alien civilization. Loeb pointed to unusual acceleration and suspicious anomalies. Wow. Signal and trajectory. Speculation claimed the comet's trajectory aligns with the direction from which the famous WOW radio signal was received in 1977, suggesting extraterrestrial origin. Anomalous behavior. Conspiracy theorists noted the comet changes colors, emits strange waves, breaks gravity rules, and has an unusual composition, high carbon dioxide content, distinguishing it from known comets. Herald of Apocalypse omen. Like ancient comets, Atlas is interpreted as a harbinger of impending global catastrophes, world order changes, or the Second Coming. Message from other realms. Some spiritual interpretations treat the comet as a cosmic catalyst carrying frequencies that support human consciousness awakening and evolution. Theories of data concealment. On social media, claims emerged that NASA is hiding the comet's true nature and its actually more dangerous course. Science's stance. NASA and most astronomers firmly deny alien ship theories, explaining the comet's unusual features as natural. Although today we know what a comet is, the psychological mechanism remains the same. The sky has once again become a screen onto which we project our fears of chaos, war, and tomorrow's uncertainty. The language has changed. The fear has not. Why do we still associate comets with tragedies? The human mind seeks meaning in chaos. When something bad happens after a spectacular sky phenomenon, we connect the two facts into one story. It is not the comet that heralds tragedy. It is we who need a sign to believe that catastrophes have some meaning. Comets do not bring wars, plagues, or ends of the world. But through the centuries, they have become symbols of our fears of what we do not understand and cannot control. And perhaps that is why, when the next comet appears in the sky, somewhere deep inside, that old question returns. Is it just a beautiful phenomenon? Or a sign that the world is entering another dark chapter?